construction of it?
It's funny you should ask that,
Yeah.
because that's one of the things I wanted to talk about songwriting, how
Okay.
how different people write songs,
Write songs,
how
right.
they come to be. So
Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna get out of the way.
there you go. You already know. So hi everybody. Yeah, you guys know who I am, and a lot of you have come to my performances before, but I don't know if you all know exactly the story behind how I came to be a songwriter. So that's kind of where I'd like to start. I started playing music, Cajun music, bass guitar, with a band called the Lafayette Rhythm Devils, and that was funny in itself because my dad was diagnosed with cancer, and I was very much an athlete and a volleyball player at the time, and I used to travel the country playing volleyball. And when that happened, all of that went to a standstill. So I needed something to do to kind of occupy my time. So I ended up buying a bass guitar and going to Mitch Reed's place off of Glorious Switch. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
Yep.
Even though I grew up in Breaux Bridge and I'd hear Cajun music on Saturday morning radio AM program, that's pretty much all I knew about it. I didn't know that Dewey Balfa and Octa Clark and all these greats were playing at New Lots right down the road. I had no idea about Cajun music, really, I didn't. And I went to these jam sessions and at Mitch's place, and when the door opened to that back room and I saw 60 people in that back room from the ages of 4 to 94 all playing music, and there was no weirdness of age group anywhere, I felt like I had found my calling. So I went to Mitch's place for about 6 weeks, and then they said, you ought to go to this Jam in Rain that they have over there. So I was like, sure, I'll go over there. And I ended up meeting Donnell, who was the drummer for the Lafayette Rhythm Devils. And after that jam session, we were sitting at the bar, and he said, he introduced himself and he said, hey, my name's Donnell, and I play with a band and we're looking for a bass player. Can I get your number? And I said, absolutely not. No. But anyway, he ended up telling Randy Vadrine that he had seen this girl playing bass guitar in Rain, and so Randy called Mitch. Mitch gave him my number, and the rest is history, And then about a year later, I ended up playing with Bonsoir Catin. We formed this all Cajun, female Cajun band, which was amazing. But this is all part of how I got to be a songwriter, because in that band, everybody sang except me. I didn't sing. And in the Lafayette Rhythm Devils, I didn't sing, but I wanted to sing. So I was told I needed to go visit a lady called Jenny Hawker up in West Virginia. And so I went to West Virginia to visit Jenny Hawker, and I did not really play guitar at the time. I had maybe learned 1 or 2 chords on guitar. And so I went up there to sing, and she basically told me that I could sing, and what I needed to do is I needed to find people who could play in whatever key that I wanted to sing in. And if they couldn't do it, she looked at me and she said, if they can't play in your key, you need to fire their ass. So that's what I did. I kind of surrounded myself with people who could play in whatever key I could sing in, because in Cajun music, you either play with a C accordion or a D accordion, and that's pretty much it, But she introduced me to this wonderful thing called a capo. And then I was hanging out with some friends one night, and one of them was a songwriter from Opelousas who had gone to Nashville to try to make it big. And I asked him about, how do you write a song? Because I don't know if I was interested in it or not. I was just curious, more say. So he said, I can tell you how to write a song. It's really easy. So I was all ears, and I was listening to him, and he said, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is pay attention. And I remember thinking in that moment, you're just an asshole. Like, you don't want to tell me how to write a song, because that's not how you write a song. And we were sitting around in St. Francisville at John Hebert's camp in the woods and bonfire, and I was a teacher at the time, and I started talking about kids, and how they're so different than what we were when we were growing up, the things that they would do. And after I kind of went on this little rampage, he just looked at me and he smiled, and I said, "What?" And he goes, "There's your song." And I thought, let me go home and write that down. Maybe one day I can write a song about that. And within a few minutes, I knew 3 chords on the guitar, and I had a song. So I called him up and I said, "Hey, can you come to my house? I think I wrote a song." So I want to start with this song. I know a lot of you have heard it before, but it's kind of an introduction to what Jim was saying as to, how do you write a song? What are you thinking about when you write a song? So this is the first song I ever wrote. It's called "Where Memories Are Gold." TV took the place of campfires and walking underneath the bright white stars, and walking in the woods turned into smoke-filled bars, and nobody takes the time to write love letters anymore. Guess the way things used to be means more now than it did before. So close your eyes and take me to the place where the black water flows, back to a place and time where my memories are gold. Well, nobody knows their neighbors or visits with the folks on Sunday nights, and sitting at the table turned into drive-through signs, and sitting with the family telling tales just don't happen anymore. Guess the way things used to be means more now than it did before. So close your eyes and take me to the place where the black water flows, back to a place and time where my memories are gold, back to a place and time where my memories